Welcome to Rom Wills Money Matters. Think of vending as a show. And I said I was going to get more into vending because I'm gonna tell you what though. I actually miss vending. It's a tough life though. Let me be clear about that. Excuse me, got the hiccups a bit. But it's a tough life. It's a tough life, but if you're going to do some vending, which I highly recommend, and the vending can range from different things, and depending on where you're at. Shout out K Business Podcast. I always talk about him. He had mentioned something about a business conference. He was going to do some vending at. You're at the right, something like that. You know, you're dealing with business people and everything. You handing out information or selling something, but you know, it's still, regardless of the type of conference or vending show, it could be anything from a flea market to a major hotel conference or expo or something like that. Think of it as a show. Think of it as a show. Because think about you vending. Now, you know, you want to draw people to your booth. You know, so it's important as how it's set up. So you can't, you know, if you just have a plain table, if you have just a plain table and some products on it, you know, if people are especially interested, but they might get it if it just happened to have the right, you know, the product they want in particular. But I'm going to tell you what, you want to maximize your presentation. It's a show. Now, when I talk about a show on two levels, first the presentation. If like when I was heavy into vending, my main product was my books. I had posters of that on. I would have an easel. I would have a poster of it, a big poster, big old poster with Rom smiling, and that would draw attention. And then even how I set up the books, I didn't just put them on there and boom, boom, boom. I would set them up in different styles and everything. I would, you know, it could be a circular style or stacked a certain way, stacked as a pyramid, something. And then even how I put the business cards on there, it was a certain thing, you know? So, and sometimes, of course, if you at an expo or something, they would have a banner for you. But some other people, they would set up, they would bring their own banners. They would bring their own banners. So I just needed an easel with a poster of my book, or a couple posters. I would have an easel and then maybe a smaller poster to put on the table. But then someone else, they might have a big banner right there. Maybe even put some flowers, something like that. And then I've noticed that vendors who are selling something like soaps or shampoos, especially soaps or lotions, something like that, they would have something where someone can get samples. Oh, and especially if you got food, but you got to have that right presentation, the physical presentation, not just so ordinary. I've seen some vendors, they'll just show up and maybe just have a tablecloth, which if it's an expo is already provided for them, and then just the stuff on the table. Yeah, that's kind of boring. That's kind of boring. Remember, you're competing with other people. People are walking, like during any vending show, you typically only have maybe less than 3 seconds to make an impression, to catch their eye. Less than 3, maybe even less. Because if you're doing any type of show or anything, especially if it's crowded, you got a lot of people there. You actually, I'm going to tell you what, if you have a show and there's 10,000 people show up, you doing good if you can get 500 to actually stop at your table. Maybe 1,000 to look, like stop and look at your table. 500 to maybe stop and then get maybe, if you can get like 100 in sales, depending on what you're selling, that could be a very good day, right? But you got to have something. You only got a few seconds to make an impression, right? So it gotta look good. But then there's the second part of it. It's your own presentation. It's your own presentation. And that presentation got to be the same all the time. Like, I never forget. And like normally I would always dress up or look nice. Now, I remember one time, now this after I had some experience vending, but I was doing a book signing and I came very casual. I came very casual. the owner of the bookstore, he had admonished me. He said, hold up, man, you selling this book, Nice Guys and Players. You need to come in here looking like a player. And he was very calm about it. He was a bookstore owner. He knew about the presentation. I was like, okay, you got me. I let myself slip, but he caught me. Remember what I said yesterday about being in a circle with other entrepreneurs. They can also check you on some stuff and give you some tidbits. And I was like, you know what? I got to treat this just like I'm treating a big old expo. But getting back to that, you know, your presentation, how you dress. I remember the first day I sold Nice Guys and Players. The first expo, it was a black expo in the DC area. Both days I had on nice outfits. Both days. Now I can't remember what I wore the first day. I cannot remember. I do remember the second day I had like, it was kind of cool. I had like a fall sweater, red sweater and black pants. Red sweater and black pants. And then my lady, my future wife, she was still future at that time, now co-parent, ex-wife co-parent now. She was looking nice there. In fact, there was one show that we did. She wore this dress we call the Money Maker. The Money Maker. Hey, that's why I got 2 kids. That's why we together. We were together. We still cool. Just saw her last night. But the Money Maker. A lot of guys were stopping at the table because she was wearing the Money Maker. In fact, that she's an author herself, but I ain't gonna violate her privacy telling you who she is. But I remember she did a book signing by herself and she wore the Money Maker. And she sold out books from the book stand. We were doing the book signing at. She was doing the book signing. Also, I had to go out to the car and get a box of books. That's how much she was selling. The Money Maker. Presentation. See, understand something. Everything is important if you're vending. So you need to have that good setup. You need to have that great setup. Good, because like I said, when people walking by, especially at a large show, you only got a few seconds to make an impression, to get them to stop. To get them to stop. And then you gotta have, you have to look good. Keep your stuff up. You gotta look sharp. Make sure you gotta have that hookup. Get those clothes clean. Make sure everything clean. Don't look like a bum. Let the barber bless you, or however you want to do it. So you want to do that. You want to do that. All right. So, and I'm gonna tell you, it's very important. It's very, very important. And then I'm gonna tell you what too. Let me give you a little tidbit. I remember at one vending show, it was an outdoor show, and I was having fun. Cause remember, you gotta draw attention. So one of the things I would do, I would stay standing. Like here's a general thing: as best as possible, stay standing up. Don't sit down too much. And yeah, you're gonna be tired sometime, but just rest or sit down to eat. But stay on your feet. If you stay, okay, you have a nice background, you have a nice setup, you're dressed nice, you're on your feet, that can still draw attention, because everything about vending is drawing people to your table. Also, another thing too, if you can, location. Now, like one expo, one lady who puts on a lot of expos, me and her cool to the point. If I do an expo with her again, I can be like, okay, you gotta get me in a good spot. Your spot is important. That could be a little tough depending on how well you know the owner. You know, depending location code. That's a little tougher. But if you can like even negotiate a good location or do something, or even pay extra to get a prime location, you want to do it because it's the show. You gotta do everything. Put yourself in a good position as best as possible. Fix up your table. Fix yourself up. Because like I said, you only get a few seconds. But I'm gonna tell you how powerful that is. I remember I was doing an expo, and talking with people. I was stopping people at the table. People were stopping at the table. I remember this one baddie, like guys were just turning their heads. She actually stopped and waited for me to help one one person, and then she came over and got some stuff. They will come to you. So you think of it as you want to be a magnet. Yeah, vending. You know, I think I need to do another show. I haven't done a show in a while. I haven't done a show since really a few years. I need to do something. I got the books. I'll look around for some stuff. Oh, that's another thing too. Like one show that I did, one young lady I connected with, and I've done a couple shows with her. I found her on Eventbrite. Look up vending shows or something, fashion shows. And I'm gonna just say this: I don't need it to make money, because it is a tough thing. But I'm gonna just look up some stuff and just I want to get back into it just for fun. It is actually fun, and that's a final thing. And I can go on and on about this, and I still might do an on-demand video about just vending. But I'm gonna tell you what. Actually, if I do that, I want to just set up and everything too. I'll figure out how to make it good. But I'm gonna tell you what, though. It's fun. That's the main thing. You gotta have fun. Like I was about to say earlier, I think I got distracted. You know how I flow. I was at this show and outdoor show, and every time I sell something, I dance. I start dancing. You got to be like, yeah, have fun. Everything you can do to draw attention, but have fun. Have fun. Because the reality is you're not going to get somebody, you ain't going to have a long line unless you just got that product. You're going to maybe you might have 2 or 3 sales in a half an hour, and then you might go another hour and a half and no one even looks at your table. But then you'll get 20 sales in that next hour after the hour and a half of not getting anybody. But the whole time, you got to keep that smile on your face. You got to keep that energy up the whole time. It's the show. The worst thing you can do is look down at the table. And when I say look down, that's the worst thing. People going to walk on by. A lot of people, that's why I say you need to keep standing. A lot of people, I go to shows and I'm looking at stuff, but I'm subconsciously, and sometimes consciously evaluating it. And I'll look at somebody and say, look, they need to stand up. Nah, they ain't say hi. I walk by, they ain't acknowledge me. That's another thing. Damn, there's so many things. If you can make eye contact with somebody, just say hi. Even if they just walking by. And now if they make it a little bit prolonged, just say, hey, come check this out. Come check this out. And they'll come over. Now, if they happen to say, well, I ain't interested, okay, have fun here. And smile. Sometimes I've had people come back. They would walk past, they have any interest. I'd be cool, smile. They would actually come back around to me. Say, I walked by earlier, let me check you out. It's the show. So anyway, that's all I have for now. Y'all know the deal. Let's go make that money.